Get ready for a big shift in our weather pattern. Right now, we're under the influence of a low pressure system. It's brought this cloud cover across the high desert with showers and winds that have just been breezy for most of central Oregon. By tomorrow, we go through a transition day from low pressure to high pressure building into the Pacific Northwest, and then even bigger changes are expected. Hey everyone, Darrell here from the Central Oregon Daily Weather Center. We are about to do a deep dive into your most reliable forecast. We're going to look at the changes we've already seen between today and yesterday to what's happening during the next 48 hours and then what that really means for us. Are these cooler temperatures sticking around? Spoiler alert. No, not for very much longer. We get a couple more days near and below average for this time of the year, then we are bringing the heat. So let's start off with what it looks like across the high desert right here and right now. Cameras stretching from the Cascades, Hoodoo, and Bachelor all the way through Central Oregon to Pine Mountain and Prineville Reservoir. And what we're seeing is just a whole lot of that cloud cover. Several of these cameras have some raindrops on the lens, indicative of showers still falling across Central Oregon. So when we just look at the general flow of things, a seasonal shift is on the way. Is this the last round of 60s that we're expecting before summer really sets up? Well, that's yet to be determined, but we are going into a huge heating trend that brings our temperatures into that summer-like feel just a little bit before summer officially starts. And so low pressure, this whole low pressure system is clearing through the day tomorrow. By Wednesday, we have more sunshine than cloud cover, but it's still going to be near and only a little below average for this time of the year. That's followed by the even more sunshine and even more warming. So with this clearing, we start to get a lot more sunshine on Wednesday. Tomorrow, it's going to be gradually clearing, but a big warming trend sets up going from the 60s into the 80s. And then by Sunday and Monday, some of the long-range forecast models are more hinting of lower 90s than upper 80s. So here through the next couple of hours, that clearing line is already starting to roll into the high desert, so we should be looking at clouds starting to thin out tonight and continuing to thin out tomorrow. But most of our roads are wet. Even when we look into the highest elevations, we do have wet roads, so there isn't any wintry precipitation up there. And through the day, it's been Central Oregon. Look, the whole 2/3 of the state has been getting wet. For some of us, just been off and on light showers. Others, we have damp roads, and we've been getting some slight accumulations. A couple of the sensors out there are showing some accumulation. Madras showing almost 1/10 of an inch. We have a couple 500ths of an inch, 600ths of an inch showing up. So it's not a lot of rain. But hey, we will take any rain we can get, especially this time of the year with the current drought that we have across Central Oregon and really the Pacific Northwest. And so this rain is a welcomed rain. It's not over yet, and we do have even bigger changes on the way, especially as we go through the next 24 hours or so. So satellite and radar does show some of these showers. And fun fact, let me back up a couple graphics. We have not seen any lightning strikes across the entire state all day long, in and around our state. And so with these showers pushing through, it's the kind of rain that we need this time of the year. And throughout Central Oregon, we're still getting some of these showers, and we have showers going all the way to the other side of the state. There are a couple bands of slightly heavy shower activity, but again, we haven't had anything that's been bringing any lightning. And through tonight, we start to clear out. By tomorrow, we really clear out, and temperatures still don't go very far through the day Tuesday. Tuesday, at a glance, shows that clouds are thinning out, and that's pretty much it. Look at those temperatures close to where they were today. Lows in the 40s with a few 30s, so slightly a little bit more chilly. And then by the afternoon, 60s expected. Still unseasonably cool, and still, because of the remnants of this system that is not done impacting Central Oregon just yet. So let's look at a forecast model. This is a high resolution model, and it only goes out just a little bit. It doesn't do the full model run that we typically show every night on air, but it is going to help paint a picture of what's happening with that high resolution associated with it. So through tonight, we start to get some clearing where we have showers. Those break down, clouds start to thin out. And by tomorrow, we start the day with the potential for a few sprinkles, then clearing, still breezy and still unseasonably cool. By Wednesday, some AM clouds give way to sunshine quickly, and the warming trend begins. That warming trend is going to take us into the 70s and then into the 80s later this week. So when we look at what's really been going on outside of all that, just just a couple more factors. Our relative humidity is pretty high, so everything that's falling is reaching the ground. Our high temperatures today did not go very far. We had 60s with a few 50s and 70s out there. Right now, we're still in the 60s, and a couple of those could have even been holdovers from yesterday. But right now, we're still in the 50s and 60s. In the last 24 hours, temperatures are running between 7 and 13 degrees cooler. So we've had the big drop in temperatures. We've been getting the rain. Winds have been breezy. But it's what happens next that's the fun part, because if you've been waiting on that next summer-like feel, oh yeah, that's coming. Well, right here, right now, through the next 24 hours, it's still going to be cool. We start to clear out tomorrow. That's a big change. So when it comes to UV intensity forecast, Tuesday, we do start to clear out, but we still have this dip in our UV levels. It's gonna be right on moderate to high. By the afternoon, more sunshine is expected, so that's why I picked it up just a little bit more than some of the apps are showing, but that's because of the additional sunshine that those apps aren't just factoring in. By Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, no question about it, the UV intensity forecast is going to be very high, under tons of sunshine, not much in the way of clouds at all. And when it comes to future precipitation, what we've been getting is pretty much what we're going to get. And by Tuesday morning, a few more sprinkles linger over the high desert. Then the warming really takes shape. Out of the 60s through the 70s and into the 80s. And we're going from the 60s to the 80s relatively quick, because tomorrow is the last cool day. Then the warming trend takes shape. And in 48 hours, we jump up from the mid 60s into the lower 80s, and then keep warming after that. So let's look at the forecast model that we typically show every night on air. This one starts us off by 11 o'clock with that cold front pushing through the high desert. We've already been getting the impacts from this cold front. Most of the cool down we've received so far today, though, has been because we haven't had a lot of warming because of all the cloud cover and showers. But the actual cooler air mass digs in tonight, brings us into a chilly range. Then we get the clearing starting tomorrow. After that, by Wednesday, we have more sunshine than cloud cover already. And keep in mind, this specific forecast model is one that we typically use on air. It's not as high of resolution as the one I was just showing you, but it still helps paint that picture. Watch what happens. By Thursday, sunshine. By Friday, sunshine. By this weekend, keeping that sunshine, and the warming trend continues. So we have to see this weekend, we have to look at the long range forecast model. That is where we call in the GFS, and it has some of those sprinkles continuing into tonight, then clearing. Then watch this one. By Thursday, Friday, Saturday, tons of sunshine, no rain in sight, and a ridge of high pressure is the dominant feature that's just driving our weather pattern all the way through this weekend and into next week. By Monday, Sunday and Monday, either side of 90s, then low 90s expected. So between now and Thursday at 11 p.m., just a few more showers, and that's what we have through the rest of tonight going into tomorrow. Winds are gusty. We got some of those gusts between 15 and 32 miles per hour in the last hour or so. By later on tonight, they start to taper off, but not too much. Actual winds are more like 10 to 20 miles per hour. Actually, you could really say 15 to 25 miles per hour. So it is breezy on the high desert. But look at what happens once we get to the early morning hours. Winds taper, but they don't come down to a light breeze. So tonight, it's still going to be breezy across central Oregon, and it's even stronger winds as we go through the day tomorrow. And most of these winds swinging around from the southwest to the west and staying there through the day. Then Wednesday, after the transition really takes shape and we get more sunshine than clouds, we go back to that typical flow that we see. South and southwest to start the day, then swinging around to the north and northwest. By tomorrow night, swinging around, or by the Wednesday night going into Thursday, swinging around to the southeast too. But winds not as strong as what we're seeing in the next 24 hours. So for tonight, expect 40s with a few 30s and 50s out there. And by Tuesday, this is when we're still looking at 60s, but mid 60s, not the lower 60s like we had today, some low 60s. And then the warming trend really takes shape Wednesday. By Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we are well into the 80s. By Sunday and Monday, some 90s. Not much in the way of cloud cover, and no precipitation after the next 24 hours. We really dry out pretty quickly. Winds still breezy at times through Tuesday, but overall, a lot of improvement is expected. So, quick look at your weather headlines for this Monday, June 8th. We're going from showers to sunshine. A midweek warm-up with drying conditions expected, and that warm-up escalates quickly taking us from way below average for this time of the year to way above average for this time of the year in just a matter of a couple of days. So we've been getting some showers. We still have some showers. We are not done with this system or this active weather pattern just yet. Tomorrow's a transition day. Then we get to a lot more sunshine. When we look at just a little bit bigger of a picture, still getting some showers over parts of Klamath and Lake counties, really all around Central Oregon, still getting a little wet. But that's okay. This is much needed rainfall. We really need it. After the 7-day planner, staying unseasonably warm and very dry. So one more quick look at it. We are quickly moving out of the 60s through the 70s and into the 80s, right? 80s really take shape Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And so that's also another time to remind everybody that when it comes to this, look before you leave the car. Check the back seat. Make sure you're not leaving any fur babies or human babies back there, because during the next couple of days, once we start to get into the 70s for highs, that is when we really turn our attention to those temperatures on the inside of the car as well. Once we're getting well into the 80s, it just takes 10 minutes for that inside temperature to reach into the triple digits at 85 degrees. So just keep that in mind. That's the latest in weather. Join us tonight on Central Oregon Daily News. We do have a little bit of a wonky show schedule. We've already done the 5 o'clock show. 6 o'clock show is going to be an hour. But on ABC, we also have the finals. And so after the game is when we'll come back on. It's scheduled to be at 8, but you know these sports, they tend to go long sometimes. It's just going to be after the game that we come on. And then again, at 11 o'clock on ABC and CBS. And that happens one more time again tomorrow. So that is the latest in weather. Join us tonight on Central Oregon Daily News. We'll see you then.